Hello everybody, welcome back to Tini Fragrance. My name is John Novatini, and I am dedicated to bringing you unbiased, unsponsored, and unpaid for fragrance reviews, something that can be tricky to find these days on the internet. I apologize, my audio, it might sound like crap. I'm not sure. I'm recording on my iPhone because I'm in a different spot than usual. I'm visiting my brother out in Mountain View, California in their plant room, and I've got a bit of a janky, precarious setup. But he has some very great fragrances that I'm a fan of, and he was nice enough to let me review one of them. And it is one that I've tried. I own a sample a while ago. I made a short review of it, actually. It's one of my all-time favorites. I hailed it as the best wood smell I have ever smelled. The best woody fragrance of all time. A category of fragrances that, personally, I love. And if you clicked on this video, I'm assuming you at least are agnostic about. But that is Xerjoff Richwood. So today we're going to get to review the full bottle of Xerjoff Richwood, spray it on, smell the opening, come back an hour later, see how it's drying down, come back a few hours later and see how it is dried down, see how it's lasting, see if it's still projecting. One of the best fragrances, what I called it. We will see if I stand by that statement now that I've got the chance to sample the full bottle, not just the little sample. I will say why I reviewed a sample. Don't judge me. This fragrance costs over $600. One of the most expensive, luxurious fragrances I've ever reviewed. Last time I reviewed a fragrance this high-end was one of the Clive Christians, I think Rock Rose, which it didn't go so well. I didn't like the fragrance. In fact, I said that I wore it to a bar and people thought I smelled like Old Spice. My wife works for Procter & Gamble. They make Old Spice. Not sure how I feel about that. Should I be insulted? Their stock's doing well. They're recession-proof. I don't know. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is Xerjoff Richwood. Let's get into it. This bottle is actually from the numbered edition batch, which is really, really neat. It's number 372-05499, made in Italy. So we're going to open it up. Here you go. As you can see, the Xerjoff Richwood bottle, it is beautiful. It's one of the best looking fragrance bottles, I think, ever. This is the 3.4 ounce, so it's 100 milliliters. So this is a lot of Xerjoff Richwood. Most of the reviews I've seen, it's a 1.7 ounce bottle. But this is, I think, $540. You can find it on discounters. I think he got this on Jama Shop. It was closer to $350, but so it's still, even discounted, a very, very expensive, luxurious fragrance. I'll give you a close-up on this bottle. I want to get right into the notes and the breakdown of this fragrance because it is one of my all-time favorite. But I want to let you know, in terms of the performance of this fragrance, it is the best I've ever tried to date. Probably, yeah, I will say longer lasting than Zoologist T-Rex, which if you've ever smelled Zoologist T-Rex, you might find that hard to believe. But this you can spray on early in the morning, and that night you will still smell it. Your sheets will smell like it. It lasts the entire day, if not longer. To get it off your skin, you pretty much have to wash off with Dawn dish soap. But the notes, it's really, there is citrus in it, apparently at the top. From what I remember, this is mostly wood. It's just a really, some have said it's a very rich wood. But we're gonna spray this on and see what we get. So when you first spray it, you do get some of those citrus notes. They're definitely there. It's not like a tropical citrus though, but it's a kind of more sour smell. It goes very nice with the wood and it lightens up the opening, I think is what that does. You get some, I think bergamot. Almost smells like grapefruit. I don't think grapefruit's officially a note, but that's what it smells like. But now as it's on the skin, it is starting to become very heavy and resinous. Now this is genuinely one of my favorite fragrances. I'm going to let this sit on the skin and talk about a few minutes so we get a little more of the developed notes. But it's one of my favorite fragrances because it's long lasting. Like I said, it lasts longer than pretty much any other fragrance I've ever smelled, let alone reviewed. And for winter, I think it is perfect. It's cozy, it's warm, it's rich, hence the name Richwood, and it really does scream luxury. I don't usually think fragrances scream luxury or not luxury. I'm not into that side of the fragrances. I just like the way they smell. But some of the notes in this, I'm not quite sure what it is. I'm going to try to pinpoint it later on once this dries down a bit. But they do come off as much more mature and much more sophisticated than ones that are in other woody fragrances. I think a lot of times with woody fragrances, maybe cheaper ones, I'm not quite sure, there's a temptation to make them very sharp on the nose, almost piney. Dior Sauvage Elixir, great fragrance, long-lasting. It does that though. The woody note, it's sharp pine, and it can be very overwhelming if you're wearing more than one spray and you're in an enclosed area. Now this is obviously very, very strong. I would not overspray this and go to the office. But the overbearing notes are not piney or sharp to the nose at all. It's much darker and resinous. The very opening is a little sharp, but it's not pine at all. It is the citrus that makes it sharp, which I find interesting by Xerjoff. It's rare to get this deep, earthy, woody smell mixed with a little bit of citrus at the top. So I'm a big fan of how they've done that. We're gonna let this dry down for a minute and come back in a few to finish the review. At this point, been a few hours, there's a little bit of rose, floral rose peeking through. And I've said it in another review of Oud Extrait by MFK that I'm a big fan of the woods and the ouds paired with florals like rose. I said I don't like it as paired as much with sweet things like vanilla. But when you mix the rich, oudy wood with then florals, it's one of my favorite combinations in fragrances. One of my all-time favorites. And this is like I just sprayed it on in terms of the projection. I sprayed a few hours ago. It is just lasting like crazy on my skin. One spray. So if you buy this, one spray is enough. Enough. So I probably would recommend 1.7 ounce, which you can get for about $2.30 on discounters, because you will not have many situations where you need to spray more than once. Maybe one on the neck and like a half spray on the wrist, but even that I think might be a little much. And I am someone who sprays a lot of fragrance, believe me. But this one is incredibly strong, but incredibly good. So far, Richwood, I said it when I reviewed the sample a year ago, I said it's the best woody fragrance out there. Now that I'm reviewing the full bottle, I stand by that. All right, it's officially been a while since I first sprayed Xerjoff Richwood. Let's see what it is dried down into and how it's lasting on the skin. It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's $630. It should be really good, but it is. It is really good. There are other incredibly expensive fragrances out there. Clive Christian Rock Rose, which I have a short review on. There are other expensive fragrances I've tried that I did not think were worth the money or the hype. Xerjoff Richwood is living up to it. At this point, we're getting a lot more patchouli, which is one of my favorite smells in the world. I frequently buy dried out patchouli or sticks of patchouli and just burn it in my house. I love patchouli. It makes me feel warm and cozy in the winter. And we're getting still a little sweetness from, I think, vanilla. And then a hint of musk, which you can identify musk like clean laundry. Musk, it's from the deer. they can't use it anymore because animal rights, PETA, they make it synthetically, but the clean laundry smell, that's designed to smell like the reproductive gland from deer. That's what musk is, and it's great in perfumes. The synthetic musk that Xerjoff uses, they have it in a few others. It's really good. It's pretty mellow. It lies low in the perfume, so it doesn't overpower at any point and smell like clean laundry. It just gives you that fresh, fresh kind of warm feeling when you smell it. But the patchouli is really taking center stage, in my opinion, here in the dry down. The rose has faded, but it's patchouli, some other woods. I don't believe oud is in this. I think it's sandalwood is the main wood, which makes it, I think, more wearable, honestly. Oud is hard to pull off. I like oud a lot, but I think the patchouli and sandalwood mixture with a slight floral note in the middle and then slight musk at the bottom makes for one of the best blends of any fragrance I've ever smelled. Any fragrance I've ever smelled. One of the best blends. And it is still projecting. Not as much, but you don't have to put your nose onto the arm. You don't have to make contact. It's still there. So it's lasted a very long time. You'll get pretty much all day wear out of this. One spray is enough. And I think this is one of the best, like, all-time woody fragrances out there. I think it is perfect for winter. If you're going to be out in the cold, one spray, it's going to feel warm and comforting in the snow. It is an incredible fragrance. You could, lay down next to a fire next to it. It works perfectly. Now, in the summer, I don't know if I'd wear it. It's really strong. It is really strong and woody. I don't know if I'd wear it in the summer, unless it's going to be really outside at a lot of space. I don't think I'd wear it indoors in the summer. It'd be overwhelming, but one of the best woody fragrances out there, if not the best. And for winter, I don't know if there's a fragrance I like more than Xerjoff Richwood. So that's my review of Xerjoff Richwood. I hope you enjoyed. We kind of went through that together, smelling the top, the middle, and the base notes. And I appreciate it if you follow along. I've got a lot more fragrance reviews coming, so stay tuned.